The heat is back. It's on the street. Yeah. City temperatures to jump 10 degrees above average. Wow. Above average of what exactly? This is Melbourne. Melbourne is about to break its mild November spell. Mild. Really? It's been freezing. With temperatures set to jump 10 degrees above average. Average of what? Average of what, previous years? Really? This has been one of the coldest Novembers we've had for donkeys. The city is expected to hit a top of 27 degrees on Monday before pushing into the early 30s later in the week. So 27 would be an average of November. Yeah, okay. So then we've got this roller coaster, just like Wispy Waspy always brings us. Today's Monday, Wispy Waspy today, cloudy tomorrow, and then we're going to have a hot one, two hot ones, a windy one, and then we're going to go back into the 20s, which would be closer to the average of what we've been having of about 18 or 16. Temperatures will be well above average. It has been mild of late. Yeah, try and tell that to my plants and vegetables outside. The temperatures will be around 10 degrees above the average. See, 10 degrees above the average, what would that be? The average would be at least 22 generally over the years, at least. So their average, that'd make it's not really that far above, like 22 would be about the average. Is really jumping this week. It's not. A cool change will sweep through Melbourne early on Thursday afternoon, but it won't bring rain. Okay. Wednesday is a more steady build of heat. Thursday we'll have a hot start to the day with windy conditions. Then the change comes through early afternoon. Yeah, we know the drill. We've been here before. He said Thursday's maximum temperature will depend on what time the cool change. Yeah, of course it does. Gee. Melbourne's will have a sleepless night on Wednesday with the overnight minimum. No, we won't, because there won't even be long enough of heat to worry about it. The house will still be cool. So that's bullshit. I'm still sitting in here in November. I've got the heater and the fan. Both. This is the roller coaster they've been feeding us through the geoengineering and the like, The Mallee will be severe both days. Yep, that would be normal. The northern half of Victoria will likely get into the low 40s on Wednesday. Mildura is expected to be 42 degrees, whilst Swan Hill is looking to be 40 degrees. Yep, okay. It's early part of the fire season. It's been dry of late, but normally the fire risk increases for us, especially when you're spraying whatever accelerants in the air down onto these areas. And hey, go and have a look on your bomb maps. Have a look everywhere. The pictures are there. You tell me that we're not going to see some fiery fire this year. I'd be very surprised. And I wish I had the money to go and invest in these soil testing things. But they are a bit expensive, but I'm sure somebody's doing it. Hay fever sufferers will need to haul a handkerchief around. Right? Extreme pollen warning to be in place across most of the state. The highest possible pollen rating. Really? I thought we already had pollen. We're entering into summer. And now we've got extended pollen seasons. What is going on? What are you guys up to? However, the thunderstorm asthma risk is low. Oh, wow. All right. So, hang on. So, they talk about this, if you look at the grass at some of this, where these fires have been, it's still green. So, I sort of wonder, is there some sort of accelerant there? And then they talk about the allergies being the highest ever been. And then you look at this stuff, aluminium and fluoride trihydrate, and it's highly flammable. It's all the symptoms of allergies almost. Toxic by inhalation, toxic if swallowed, toxic in contact with skin, toxic contact with water liberates toxic gas, can become highly flammable in use, contact with acids, liberates toxic gas. Look at this stuff. This sounds like a nightmare if it got on fire. And then there's the other ones they spray, because one of them's a heating and one of them's a cooling one, and the other one's an aluminium derivative too. And that's got all the allergy symptoms in it as well. It's crazy. And then we wonder why things are on fire. And then we've got the hail there on the coast there, because the water outside around in the ocean there, it's pretty cold. And then inside it's an inferno, because they've created an inferno. Because nothing can get in there, because they've blocked it through spraying. So you can call us all paranoid if you want, but people are starting to see through the shit. So just going to keep plugging away, and hopefully you might open your eyes, you know. There's plenty of people out there that are just oblivious to what's going on, and they keep getting caught up in the old game of blaming the politicians, which is what they want, because these politicians, we've got two sorts of politicians and two sorts of leaders, it seems. We've got the evil and we've got the incompetent. And it usually runs evil, incompetent. If you look at American leaders, look, you've got George Bush, incompetent. You've got Obama, evil. You got George Bush Senior. He was evil. You got Donald Trump. You'd call him incompetent. Like it's just they're shit. They're not there for you, and people keep relying on them, keep wanting to turn to them like they're going to be their saviour. Like it's just they're taking you for a ride. They're selling you out, and they're happy for this to go along. And so if they're ignorant and they don't know that their skies are getting sprayed, well, you need new leaders anyway. So I've had enough of ranting. But, yeah, have a good day. So this is today, Monday, over Tasmania. Seems legit to me. What the hell? What is this? So they're probably getting a heap of rain. Maybe, I don't know, or they're keeping it off there, because they're going to hit us hard over the summer. He's already preempted us, the Premier, in the script. The script he's already put out, saying, oh yeah, it's going to be a cracker fire season. So they're just preempting you, so you get fired up and you can have another attack at these politicians when it's not one or the other, it's all of them. I'm telling you now, the script is just a script. Even when they're in the Senate House, go and have a look at them. Pauline's the biggest giveaway of the script, because she's a terrible reader and she can't even read naturally. And so when she talks, people think she's frazzled. No, she can't read. And she's reading the script just like everybody else is. People can't even be as incompetent as her. That's the crazy thing. Like, you have a look. Look at her. Look at how she reads. How has she got written responses when she puts in they're all submitted. All the submissions of questions, a question time or whatever. They even get the answer back. So they can read through the answer while they're watching them say it. So she's even got her script written after that when she responds to say, you avoided the question. And even that's scripted, whether it's Malcolm Roberts puppeting her from behind, or whether there's a computer there or a phone or whatever that she's reading. But the downfall there is she can't read. So I don't trust any of them, and I'd advise you not to trust them either, because I think they're all taking you for a ride, and this is one of the greatest shows, and it's global. So call me paranoid if you wish, but, what else have you got going for you? You're going to keep going on with this same old charade that's not really real? It's all an illusion, folks.
Yesterday, that was a whole lot of fun, and that's where the military just basically dumps some of the tiny particles of plastic or metal mylar into the atmosphere.
Northern California, we've got a bit of an unusual situation. Now, this first portion of the radar cycle, fairly bland and typical, but then you see these bands of very distinct cloud cover moving into the region. That is not rain, that is not snow. Believe it or not, military aircraft flying through the region is dropping chaff. Small bits of aluminum, sometimes it's made of plastic or even metallicized paper products, but it's used as an anti-radar issue, and obviously they're practicing. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
The last weather segment, this is inevitably military or something going on. The government, the Air Force, they send out what's known as chaff, and it's a way to experiment with the radar systems. And when you see this kind of a pattern like this, you can rest assured there's something going on. They're actually a little bitty magnetic, little bitty strips of, whether it's aluminum, they change it, but what happens is the radar deflects off of all these little pieces, and they use it actually as a jamming mechanism for radar in warfare, but it...
I call bullshit. Then we get this odd story on the news in Queensland just a couple of weeks prior to these huge fires. I don't know. Call me crazy. Coincidence.
On today's weather now at Tony, something strange going on in the skies of southern Queensland in the past day.
Good afternoon, Katrina. Yes, we've started seeing some mysterious echoes appearing on the radar now. They started late yesterday afternoon over the Darling Downs with trails of blue sweeping across the southeast during the evening and overnight before it all dissipated early this morning. So, what is it? Well, it's not weather-related. Skies were clear last night and there was no rain recorded anywhere. And one theory is that it's a thing called chaff, small metal or plastic fibres released into the air to help shield military aircraft from radar detection during exercises. No one has confirmed that, but these streams here are consistent with something being released in the upper atmosphere over the downs, then being swept across the southeast by strong winds. Interesting nonetheless. Today, mostly sunny skies, no mysterious radar signals. Ipswich, Greenbank and Canungra pushed up to 30 degrees with 31 at Gatton and Beaudesert. Katrina, I'll be back soon with tomorrow's forecast.
Like, seriously, what is going on out there?
Floods in Venice, fires in Australia, and plague in China, all blamed on climate change. In yesterday's edition, I went over the floods in Venice and showed how the flood in 1825 was much worse than the current flood, and that floods in Venice happen all the time. Meanwhile, the drought and fires in Australia are pretty easy to explain. This is the most recent NOAA sea surface temperature anomaly map for the whole world. You can see that Australia and most of the southern hemisphere has anomalously cold water, which is marked as blue. The waters around most of Australia are very cold. And look at all that cold water around the Great Barrier Reef. Not a lot of coral bleaching going on there right now. Cold sea surface temperatures means less evaporation, less precipitation, and more drought. If the oceans actually were warming, as climate alarmists claim, Australia would probably be getting a lot more rain. The worst bushfires in Australia occurred during the Little Ice Age on February 6, 1851. Black Thursday, probably one of the most terrible days of which there's any record in Australian annals, was Thursday, the 6th of February, 1851, commonly known as Black Thursday. We find it recorded that as early as 7 or 8 in the morning at Melbourne, the thermometer stood at 117 degrees in the shade. From early morning, the intense heat was accompanied by a hot wind, almost at the strength of a hurricane, and throughout the day the surface of the country was exposed to the full power of its withering influence. Bushfires raged across hundreds of miles of country, sweeping along with almost the rapidity of lightning and destroying nearly instantaneously men, women, and children, crops and homesteads, fences and gardens, and vast quantities of cattle, sheep, horses, pigs, and fowls. From the whole land arose a cry of utter desolation. Men who woke that morning thriving and prosperous farmers lay down at night without a farthing in the world or any resource left them but manual labor. About half of Victoria burned that day. Melbourne started the day at 117 degrees in the shade. CO2 levels were very low, and this was during the Little Ice Age. Blaming the droughts and fires in Australia on global warming simply isn't going to fly.